Good afternoon, Sam. I'll make this brief. Um, it sounds to me, and I don't want to make any assumptions, and you're certainly welcome to correct me. There's a disconnect, and someone for you to come to drive out to my place and to train in Hermitage when you live in another part of town while you were here means you had made a connection, and I think based on what you're telling me, I think there's a disconnect with you and this coach. That doesn't mean that this coach isn't good, but if you feel like you're at a crossroads and you're willing to say that to me, I think you're ready to take a step in a different direction. Now, where that is, remains to be seen. But the 5 to 7 rep range, I, I'm always hesitant to criticize coaching or programming, but I will tell you, I've been doing this a really long time. And can you get strong in that rep range? The answer is yes. Do I think it's ideal? Do I think it's ideal all the time? And this reps and reserve thing, it sounds like one of the things that we do at AppLift. I'm an AppLift coach, and I don't use their template. I think it's one of those things. I have a basic template that I use as an example, but you have to kind of individualize that based on things, even all the way down to personality. There's some people where you have a top set, maybe two, and then you have to drop them down. They do some work, and then you go on to assistants. And not everybody needs a deload every fourth week, like I'm much more of a proponent of waiving the intensities versus a full deload, especially a scheduled deload. So, I don't think you believe in what you're doing anymore, and I think that's probably the biggest disconnect. And I think it's also one of the reasons why you're not as willing to be as, communicative as you potentially should be. That doesn't mean that the two of you have to be virtual pen pals. And I have a couple of clients, that want constant feedback and all those things, and that is my job. But my job is not to be a virtual pen pal. So I think it's one of those things where I think you got a decision to make. I think you've already made that decision, and now it's what direction to go. The other thing is community, and man, that's a tough thing. But now, depending on where you are in Knoxville, now I know people. I actually coach a girl who is here. She's staying with us this weekend, and I'd have to ask her where she trains. But there is a powerlifting community, Oak Ridge, and there's Armor, and there's another guy who has started another gym whose name escapes me all of a sudden. But there are some options in that area. So you just tell me where you're at, because I think it is important. And something that you said that really stuck out to me is about where do you want to be in 2 to 5, 10 years with your lifting. And I think that's really smart. One of the things that I lay out when I have a new lifter, like for the first year of lifting, let's set some goals. Once they've trained for 4 to 8 weeks and we kind of get the ball rolling, and I learn them and they learn me, it's like, okay, where do you want to be in 3 months? Set some goals. And I work with, because there's people that have never squatted 100 and they want to squat 300 right out of the gate. Of course, that's not going to happen. So my job is not to squash that and go, oh, that's completely impossible, but to temper that and go, where do you want to be in a year? I want to squat 200 pounds. Where are you at? I'm at 100. So where do you think you need to be in 3 months and in 6 months to get to that goal in 12 months? And I think that's very smart, because I think with this, especially strength, you have to have a short-term goal that could be 6 months, could be 2 years. Medium term, 5 year, could be 5 years. And long term, when I was up and coming, I wanted to squat 800 in a meet, bench 500, and deadlift 700 pounds, in total 2,000. And I went about the process of doing that. And as I got closer to those goals, I knew I didn't want to just total 2,000 and then stop. So I started looking at longer term goals. What did I want to do with my career? At that point, I had competed in some national and international meets and had some success. And so I think those are going to be things that are really important to you. You're a driven person, and you have some talent too. And I think you're going to have to find, not only locally, even if it's one or two people, but I think you're going to have to look into the social media virtual world to kind of help create some community. And there's a lot of it out there. Um, so I think those are some things that would really help you if you had a sense of community and felt like you could reach out to some people that would be open to, some discussion here and there. I think that would lend to being empowering, and having conversation would be not necessarily motivating, but would help give you some security in the drive that you want to give this. And so I think that's going to be really important. If you want me to look at your training and make some suggestions, I'm happy to do that as well. I'm always concerned when the base of the training is higher rep sets, and I have my own theories as to why, and we can discuss that. I'm not saying that this person is wrong, but if that's the base, then I think there's some definite flaws, and I think that's why you're also finding some issues. Not only that there's a form issue, but there may be a form issue created based on so much repetition, like you said with your squat. I'll just go ahead and go into it. What I have found is when we do competition style squats in our training, the form degradation from even 1 to 2 reps can be, you can see it. It's visual. Once you get past 3, man, all bets are off. So I don't like doing more than 2 reps, because I would rather do 6 sets of 2 than 2 sets of 6, if that makes any sense, because you see that form, that lifter is getting more and more forward, and if you're a low bar squatter, bar path can get wonky pretty quick. And so as we get more forward, where does that pressure go? Well, the obvious answer is the lower back, but it also starts hitting those hips, and that bar movement can happen in the upper back, creates a whole myriad of issues. So I'm more about, let's do our heavy squatting or our competition style training in a doubles manner, and even as it progresses into singles. And then what I like to prescribe for assistance for squat are other types of squatting, whether that be a specialty bar, pauses, tempo, whatever the case may be. And man, the hips are everything in the squat. So there's some things that we do squatting wise to help those problems. And I'm not a big proponent of box squats because of the odd pressure. And if you don't have someone with you all the time, box squats can become a detriment and can create imbalances and issues with the hips. So anyway, this has been long-winded enough. You certainly have, like I said, I think you've made a decision. It's what direction do you want to go? And and I'm happy to help in any way that I can. So let's talk soon and see if we can't get you back on a path that makes you feel good about what you're doing and is positive and is moving in a forward motion. All right, thanks for reaching out.